Hello, my name is Dr. Grace Twiston-Davies and I've been one of the consultants on the Protected Landscape Investment Bank feasibility study as part of the University of Exeter consulting. So my main goal has been to really understand the feasibility at the supply side. So as far as the landowners and farmers are concerned, what kind of products would they be interested in providing and at what sort of scales? So how I've been doing that is I've been working with our working group we've got about 8 farmers on our working group, and providing them with farm profiles, so profiles of where are the carbon and where are the biodiversity opportunities on their farms. And that's been a sort of two method process. So the first process has been getting maps of the farms basically, and then looking at where are the habitats, where is the natural capital, and where are the pressures on a landscape scale around that farm. So where are there risks, where's the flood risk, where is the carbon sequestration opportunities, and where are there heritage that needs protecting, those sort of things. So that's the sort of first step. And then going to the farm and walking around with the farmer and together looking at opportunities for biodiversity net gain or woodland carbon code, woodland creation opportunities are 2 examples, because there's mechanisms that exist for those at the moment. Actually, what's been interesting with those profiles is that farmers are interested in woodland creation as opposed to just tree planting. Ideally, in probably quite small parcels on their farm, but with the idea that they would scale up over a landscape, so like wooded stream valleys, those sort of things, and also biodiversity. So they're very keen on enhancing and protecting biodiversity that they've got across the lizard. So they're two key things that have really come out of that. The other thing that I've been doing with the farmer group is interviewing them and trying to understand what are the main barriers to engaging in private investment at the moment, and what, on the flip side, what are the main incentives that could be in place to help them engage in private investment in the near future. So what's been really interesting is that the key barriers, kind of top-ranked barrier has been that they don't feel there's a mechanism available yet for farmers that want to go the extra mile for biodiversity. So not just planting trees, actually creating woodland habitat. They don't feel like that exists yet. That's actually really positive, because that's showing us that farmers in our working group, and therefore hopefully groups of farmers across our protected landscapes, would feel the same and actually want to create habitat and increase biodiversity. So that's something that we can really do something with. The other concern has been over the ethics of who are they selling their carbon to, and it's really important to them that they have some sort of say or control over that, or there's some sort of guidelines. They very clearly express that what they don't want to do is be providing carbon offsetting or carbon credits for a company that's not doing anything to reduce their own carbon emissions. That was very, very important to them. That was highly ranked as well. And the third most highly ranked, which isn't necessarily a big surprise, but it's really important to share this, is that there's just still so much uncertainty over public finance into their farms, what's happening with future agri-environment schemes. They still don't know what's going to replace countryside stewardship. So that's a really big barrier to them at the moment. And then so we flipped that and said, well, what were the main incentives then? And unsurprisingly, the flip side of there being uncertainty over future agri-environment schemes, an incentive would be that there was clarity over future agri-environment schemes. And when did DEFRA expect blended finance to be rolled out or expected from the farmers? So they were obviously very big incentives, and not a lot that we can do anything about on our feasibility study or in the near future. But an actionable incentive that has come out is that the farmers actually would really like some more support with measuring and monitoring their own carbon on farm. What was raised was that what they don't want to do is be providing carbon credits for other businesses, when actually they might need that carbon to offset their own activities if the government turn around and say that farms have to be carbon neutral. So actually for them to understand what carbon are they producing, what carbon are they offsetting, and what are their own carbon budgets, I guess, before they start even thinking about selling it. And that's something that's actionable, something that we can do about actually in the near future. I think the main take-home messages looking at the supply side of private investment in the protected landscape are that there is an opportunity to pilot some smaller projects because there's things that the farmers are interested in sort of in the short term. You get to test out different mechanisms, different ways of working in partnership with a farmer group and various investors. But it also helps you build trust in the community as well, in the farming community. And you've got a bank of case studies to build on when you are ready for larger scale private investment in the protected landscapes. Other than that, as I mentioned, building trust is absolutely key on the supply side to make this work. We've worked with this group for a few years now. We worked with them on the environmental land management tests and trials, and many of them are familiar with Cornwall AONB, familiar with some of the consultants, and that has really taken time. So just don't underestimate the amount of time it will take to build that trust on the supply side. Another key thing is actually the importance of looking for product opportunities, carbon and biodiversity on farm together with the group, and not dictating to the group what those opportunities might be on the farm. It's very important to get that buy-in, and really very much understanding that these products need to work in a productive farm, on a productive farm, in a productive landscape, a working, living landscape, but within a nature-friendly farming system. So very much not discounting things like wood pasture that would tip the carbon and the productivity boxes, or smaller scale projects that could be scaled up with multiple farms. So that's very key to just understanding that these are living, working landscapes, and some large scale carbon and biodiversity products just might not be suitable for the majority of farmers in the protected landscapes. But other than that, we have a really engaged, ambitious group, and I feel like we can, this is the group that we can go quite far with, testing some new future pilot projects hopefully, and seeing how this goes, and engaging even more farmers in how we can get nature and finance into the protected landscapes. So yeah, thank you for involving me, and thank you for the opportunity for carrying on with the brilliant group of farmers.